Hello and welcome to Quartzlight, your car brochure channel. And in today's episode we're going to be looking at the Datsun 100A in these full range Datsun in the UK brochures. Welcome back, and if you're new to Quartzlight, we're a car brochure channel looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s and sometimes beyond that as well. So if you're interested in cars and car brochures, or indeed just a car enthusiast, please consider subscribing. Anyway, today's episode we're going to be looking at these full range brochures for the Datsuns in the UK, and we're particularly on this particular episode going to look at the Chery 100A. And this, it is quite a scruffy little brochure. It's from August 1972, and at some point it was bought for 10 pence. But it is a very scruffy little brochure, but a very rare car is within it, and of course the front cover is a very rare car for the UK. It looks like a Datsun 240C or Nissan Cedric as it's known in other countries. Very, very rare car today. But let's have a look at the car we're actually most interested in, the car we're going to be actually looking at today. The Chery 100A. And what an interestingly styled car. And I think Datsun, and as it was to become Nissan in the UK as well, I mean, this is kind of like how they clawed their way in, making these quite ordinary cars, but the problems with British Leyland etc. with their reliability problems, there was a gap for something a bit more reliable, even though the UK public in the early 70s, like I said, this is 72, was still a little bit wary about so-called foreign cars. But certainly, if you have one of these and it's going to be trouble-free, you're probably going to buy another one at the time. Anyway, let's start by looking at some of the text, and then we'll look at some of these interesting images. So it starts by saying, Chery 100A, there are 3 models, all in an exciting range of colours. The 4-door Deluxe, 2-door Deluxe, and a very handsome Estate. Yes, Estate. The Chery 100A range is fitted with front wheel drive, making possible all kinds of space improvements. All models are powered by a very lively and well proved 988cc engine, giving 59 bhp. A little bit of a zoom in on this particular example. I really love the styling, particularly like the front end. I even like the new UK it was badged Datsun. Just something a little bit special. Obviously people were a little bit wary at first. I think the key was in February 73, Motor Magazine did a little bit of a poll, and they always did a little bit of a poll with the question, would you buy another car of the same model? 76% of Chery owners answered yes, which was the highest number to date. Previously the highest number was for the Volkswagen Beetle at 66%. So you can see from that small beginnings, you can see why Datsun and in turn Nissan really clawed in there with the Japanese market, and you can see it went from strength to strength. The all important brand loyalty, where a lot of the British manufacturers or so-called British cars, they never really had that sort of wow, this is an amazing reliable car, and really the average person just wants something reliable to start each morning, get them to work and back, and that's all they really wanted. And this really fitted that. A little bit of a look at that tiny back seat, plenty of room inside, hatch, seats fold down, so a lot of room for a tiny car. And a bit of a look at that interior, what looks like vinyl seats, that long gear lever, very simple basic little door card with lots of colour of the car showing, but headrests 72, not bad at all. So it tells us standard equipment includes toughened glass all round, curved side window glass, separate high back front seats, adjustable fore and aft, bench type full width rear seat, ashtray front and rear, listing wire type vinyl ceiling, padded sun visor, floor through ventilation system, 3-point seatbelt anchorages on 4 seats, estate car rear seats, 2-point anchorages only, twin blade 2-speed cell parking windscreen or windshield wipers as it says, electric windshield washer, single horn, carpets, reversing lights, headlamp flasher and hazard warning lights. So specifications of the engine: it's a water cooled gasoline engine, obviously, OHV, 4-cycle, 4-cylinder inline. Some specifications for the cooling system: the fuel system, lubrication system, electrical system, 12 volt of course, and the clutch, a dry single plate diaphragm spring clutch. And the gearbox is a 4 forward speed and 1 reverse synchromesh on all forward gears, in unit with final drive, remote control, central floor gear change lever. So brakes, service brake on 4 wheels, hydraulically operated by pendant pedal, saloon models, front disc brakes, estate models, front drum brakes with 2 leading shoes, rear drum brakes with leading and trailing shoes, handbrake, central pull-up lever operating on rear wheels. Suspension is a front independent suspension by coil springs and damper struts with lower wishbones. Rear saloon independent suspension by trailing arms with coil springs and decarbon type dampers. Rear estate car dead axle with semi-elliptical leaf springs and decarbon type dampers, so that's estate a little bit more antiquated, but I guess to hold more weight in the rear, I guess. Wheels and tyres, pressed steel, steering rack and pinion, body all steel, and a little bit of the idea of the dimensions there. And then we've got a little bit of look of that interesting rear end. So moving on to this tiny little second Datsun in the UK full range brochure. Lot better condition, this one. It's also a little bit later. I'm not sure of the exact date. The first one was dated 72. This is certainly later in the 70s. Now this one, if I just pull the camera back a little bit, it's kind of like an unusual type of brochure type thing. Like I say, it's a full range, but it's kind of like, you know, big long fold out type item. It does tell us about the 100A at the top here, so let's have a look at that. I do like this particular one. I wish I had that exact car. It looks really good in blue, I think. I don't know, just suits that colour. I think it looks really good. You can also see those rear windows and how they actually open as well. Stylish looking car. Like I said, it did very well in the UK for Datsun. Now, even though the successor for this car was actually launched in 74, such was the original model's popularity in the UK model, it was actually not replaced until 76. So again, to give you a good idea how well these were selling. And it's sad that you very rarely see one of these now. Of course, rust was the big killer, but you know, I really like these. I don't know why, I just really like this particular design of Datsun, and it really deserved to do really well against less reliable UK manufacturers, which is sad because you could say that these Japanese cars were what killed off these British built or so-called British built cars in the UK. Cars like this crept in with the reliability, and you know, the reliability never really increased for UK cars, so in some ways it deserved to die, really, into the UK market because they couldn't compete. But at the same time, a little bit sad that they didn't. But this little cute car, I guess, was possibly a little bit responsible for that decline. Okay, so there is some little notes by the side of this lovely blue example. Datsun Cherry 100 range, attractive, compact and roomy 4-seaters, safe, responsive handling from front-wheel drive and all-independent suspension, lively performance with excellent economy, well-equipped, comfortable and utterly reliable, and I think that's the key. Small cars, big advantages. Models 2-door L, 2 and 4-door saloons, 3-door estate and a 2-door coupe now. And some specifications: 988cc OHV engine, 59 bhp at 6000 rpm, 4-speed all synchromesh gearbox, all independent suspension, front McPherson struts, rear trailing arms, front disc brakes, dual circuits, rack and pinion steering, a little bit of information about the tyres and the length, and at the bottom there, maximum speed up to 86 miles per hour, typically 40 miles per gallon. So there we go, the little Datsun Cherry 100A. End of the day, people just wanted a reliable, cheap runabout that was pretty good on fuel. Was that too much to ask in the 70s? No! Datsun said, no, you can have this for very little money. It's a shame other companies like British Leyland didn't catch on with that, and maybe they would still be around today. Thank you so much for watching today. If you've not done so already, please do like and subscribe. Thank you so much for the people who have become a member. That does help the channel immensely for very little money. If you're interested in any other of these Datsun range in the 70s, please let me know. Always a good idea to know what you, the viewer, wants. After all, this channel is for you, isn't it? Thank you for watching. You do take care. All the best and goodbye.